my goodness, folks, I think we've got another contender for Book of the Year here. Ike Baker's Aetheric Magic, a complete system of elemental, celestial, and alchemical magic, with a foreword by Ivo Dominguez Jr. Folks, this is very cool. I'm going to go ahead and say important. Many of you will be familiar with the Eastern systems of magic that involve energy work, right? Just subtle forms of energy present in the body, using that energy to be moved for us to move it, for us to use it, for us to put it into useful places, and so on. Ike Baker, you may know as the presenter of the Arcanum podcast. You can see some pretty cool names right there, being giving their praise for this book, and it's very well deserved. Okay, so the Eastern esoteric traditions have some very advanced techniques for working with energy, for working with subtle energies, and Ike has kind of looked into the past of energy work within the Western magical tradition and found plenty of sources, but I guess we haven't really pushed it quite as far as many of the Eastern traditions have. Of course, he talks about the Ka from the Egyptian system, which, I think it's reasonable to include the Egyptian system within the so-called Western magical tradition, since it's clearly at its origin, right? It's one of so-called Western tradition's origins, and thinking about the Ka of Egyptian tradition makes sense when comparing it, for example, to Qi, or comparing it to the types of energies spoken of in Chinese traditional magic, in Japanese tradition, in Indian tradition, of course, which has a very advanced system of breathing techniques and so on for precisely using subtle energies. So the first, I'm going to say third of the book is an explanation of what this energy is, which Ike Baker is calling Aetheric Magic, and he's presenting all of this as a comprehensive magical system, and with good reason. And then the book goes into exercises, right? So about the second 2/3 of the book are exercises that you can do, right? Starting with very, very simple exercises, going into more and more complex, and then ending up in the realm of vision magic and using your visual imagination, for those of you who don't suffer from aphantasia, of course, but for those of you who do suffer from aphantasia, the very practical earlier exercises in here will be of tremendous use. I think you're going to really appreciate those. And then towards the back of the book, we get into how you can establish this as a regular practice, as something that you can take yourself from zero to hero in, as it were, right? And then finally, there's a really nice glossary. And the glossary, I love this, folks. It's a glossary of postures, right? So each posture mentioned has got its little silhouette towards the back over here, and then there's tables of symbols, so that if at any point, if you're not reading the book from beginning to end, you can look this stuff up. Of course, as you can see over here, it's very much Golden Dawn centered. The order of things are Golden Dawn centered, but you can of course adapt all of this to your own preference. And then a glossary of terms, which is exactly what you want at the end of the book. Fantastic stuff. Yeah, as I say, I think it should be considered for well, at least one of the books of the year, because because energy magic isn't very popular in the West. I think of Damien Eccles as being, the primary voice for Western energy magic. There are plenty of practitioners out there who are very competent with the Eastern magical, specifically energy magical systems, and who make those available to us and who make them useful for the average Western reader. But looking very specifically at energy work, which Ike is calling ether work, right? And I really like this word ether for talking about subtler energies. For many reasons, I like I like this. Of course, there might be some contention, but I personally like it a lot. So yes, so I think that Ike Baker has produced something important, and he's produced it in a way that's so approachable. Literally, I feel like I could recommend this to anyone, really anyone, whether they've got 40 years of grimoire practice under their belt, or they're just starting and they've found out about candle magic just a few days ago, that kind of thing, right? It doesn't really matter. It's so well explained. It's the sequence is so logical and so clear and flows so well. Yeah, I can really say that I will be recommending this for anyone interested in energy work. To be clear, I do think of energy work as a part of magic, but it's if this appeals to someone, it's a very nice point of entry, and it's a nice paradigm. Do I think that it's a paradigm that is helpful at the beginning? Well, that's personal opinion, I think. I like to start off by thinking of the universe as mind within which material arises, and this doesn't really have that kind of focus, right? It considers the material world as being the container, as it were, of all of this, but it doesn't really matter. I think that everyone can come to these conclusions in their own time and in their own sequence, and I think that whatever your world paradigm may be, this is useful stuff ultimately, right? This is stuff that works. This is stuff that's useful. This is good thaumaturgy and useful in the realm of theurgy. So yes, fantastic stuff here in Etheric Magic by Ike Baker. There we go, folks. I hope you enjoyed this very short review, but I'll probably talk about this a little bit more at the end of the year when this inevitably joins my top 10. There we go, folks. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe and hit the bell button if you haven't done so already. I'll see you very soon with another one. Bye-bye.